Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today. First of all, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, maybe in some places. And before I say good night, let me tell you a very short story. Uh, Now, do not worry, this is not one of those corporate stories that starts with, back in 1987 and ends with the 47 slides about the company history. We are definitely not gonna talk about that. We're going somewhere, far more interesting today. A few years ago, when I was sitting across from a CEO of a very fast-growing technology services company, it was a great company, great clients, great people. Their revenue was growing, their headcount growing, the projects are growing. Everything looked fantastic, uh, at least from the outside. So I asked him one simple question, one question, a question that should have taken him just 5 seconds to answer. I asked him, which project will hurt your margin next quarter? He smiled and he looked at his CEO. The CEO looked at his delivery. The delivery looked at the finance. And the finance guy opened an Excel. That Excel opened another Excel. And that one opened another. And, eventually somebody said, we'll get back to you. you know, Nobody was hiding anything here. Unfortunately, nobody was incompetent. Nobody was doing a bad job. They genuinely did not know. That is when I realized it's something very important. The biggest threat of professional services. It's not bad sales. It's not bad revenue. It's not even competition. It's something far more dangerous. You cannot fix what you cannot see. And that is exactly what today is about. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dark side of professional services operations. Let me pull up my deck here. I hope my screen is visible. So, yeah, yeah, perfect. So, this is KEBS, the operational intelligence layer for professional services. We are not going to talk about software today, not yet. We are going to talk about you, your businesses, your operations, the story that play out inside service systems every single day that nobody wants to tell out loud. So let us begin. Before we go any further, I wanted to ask everyone for one small favor. Okay, for the next 30 minutes, remove the corporate filter. The filter that I'm talking about, the one that says everything is fine, everything is under control. We will discuss it internally, because the truth is, every organization has operational blind spots, every single one of us. A spreadsheet nobody wants audited, a report that takes 3 days to prepare, a utilization number everyone quotes confidently, and nobody fully trusts that. Today's session is about finding those blind spots and shining a flashlight on them. Okay, before opportunity do not hide in the places you can see; they hide in the places you cannot. So today it is an invitation to look inward. So welcome to the dark side. So so let us revisit that question which I asked the CEO. So which project will hurt your margin in the next quarter, not the last quarter, not the 6 months ago, and not the next quarter. I'm asking about what's the next quarter. Now, now think about that for a moment. If I called your CEO, your CFO, your COO, your delivery head, and asked each one of them the same question right now, would all four give the same answer, or would I get four slightly different answers, all delivered with full confidence, all backed by their own chart? Uh, that is usually what happens. And here is the reason, you know, margin does not disappear dramatically. nobody inside your films, they wake up on a Monday and say, "Today I shall destroy the profitability." It won't work like that. Margin leaves quietly, like a consultant leaving a Friday meeting 15 minutes early. No, nobody notices until much later. Nobody could answer. That is the most expensive sentence in the service operations. And that brings us to the biggest, simplest, and the most uncomfortable lesson in this entire business. You cannot fix what you cannot see. Simple, obvious, and ignored by almost everybody, because every operation problem starts the same way. First, it is invisible. This is a then it becomes manageable, then expensive, then urgent, then it becomes everybody's problem, and finally it comes to the leadership meeting. By the time it reaches that meeting, the damage is already done. The conversation is no longer how do we fix this. The conversation is all about, how did we not see this coming? So the goal is not better reporting, the goal is earlier visibility. Because earlier visibility creates earlier decisions, and earlier decisions creates better outcomes. This is one the universal law of service operations. And now let me show you exactly how margin disappears. Not in theory, in reality. Okay. The deal gets signed, everyone celebrates, the sales is happy, leadership is happy, the client is happy, the LinkedIn is very happy. Then reality arrives. And reality never arrives dramatically. Reality arrives in disguise, disguised as small favors. A client asks for a small change, your team helps. After all, the relationship matters. A senior consultant supports another project for 2 days a week. It's not a big deal. We will sort it out the cost coding later. Then a deadline slips. A contractor is bought at 1.4 times the cost. We absorbed it because the alternative was worse. A change request never gets formalized, too small to argue about. One small compromise, then another. Then 12 months later, you walk into the project closure review, and 21% point of margins have quietly vanished. No, nobody saw the margin is left. No, now, you know, let us have some little fun. Imagine you own an airline, okay? 500 aircraft. You can tell me where each one is right now. Of course, you can because the altitude, the speed, the fuel, the crew, the destination, all live every second. The whole industry runs on it. Now, you imagine you run a service firm with 500 consultants. Same question, different industry. So, can it instantly tell me who is billable right now? Who is rolling off next month? Who is sitting on the bench this week? Who has the right skills for the new deal that just came in? The honest answer is most firm is give me a few half. That is what the typical reply would be. So, which is fascinating because a consultant costs significantly more than an aircraft. We are managing the most expensive moving asset in the business with the visibility you would not accept for a fleet of trucks. Aeroplanes, we can find them every second. Consultants, we send 3 emails and hope for the best. There is something philosophically beautiful about that. Uh, now let's talk numbers. In most service firms, 70% of revenue is spent on people, not building, not software, not infrastructure, people. Now, here's the uncomfortable question. Can you see that investment clearly? Or are you looking at it through reports, through spreadsheets, and a prayer? So look at the number on the screen. 5%, just 5% drop in utilization. for a firm of 500 billable people creates a seven-figure revenue gap every year quietly. Not because the people disappeared, because visibility disappeared. That question mark in the middle is intentional because if I ask everyone on this call right now, how many people are sitting on the bench inside your firm? Most of you would have given me a number with full confidence, and most of this number would be slightly wrong. And then there is 14 days. That's the industry baseline for getting someone off the bench and onto a building project. 2 full weeks. Best in class firms do it under five. So the difference is not talent here. It is not work ethic. It is not even process discipline. It is knowing where your people are before everyone else does. Now, let us talk something about that you should make every CFO on this call quite uncomfortable. That's like cash. Imagine I gave you 15 extra days of cash flow tomorrow morning. What would you do with it? You will hire fast. You may invest faster, acquire faster. You will sleep better. That's the most important, right? Now imagine losing for that same 15 days every single month for years, because that is exactly what operational friction does. And let me walk you through how it actually happens. Uh, the consultants log efforts eventually, not always on Friday, sometimes on Monday, sometimes on the Monday after that. Then approval starts, PM reviews, practice lead reviews, sometimes the delivery head reviews. Each one is doing their job. Billing advisors goes to the finance, milestones verified, terms double checked, invoice raised, finally moving out of the door. Then the client, it is net 30 or net 45, net 60, net patient. Sometimes everybody is doing their job. Nobody is being slow on process, and it 60 to 90 days on working capital sits trapped between delivered and paid. Most of it lives in approval quiz that nobody actively checks. It is like socks in the washing machine. Nobody knows where exactly the time went, but it's gone. Let me describe the actual operating model of most service systems today. Sales lives in one system, probably a CRM that finances does not have full access to. Estimation and S2 SOW lives in Word document with track changes flying around three inboxes. And resource management lives in an Excel owned by one person. Heaven helps you if they go on a leave, and delivery leaves on another system, maybe Jira, Asana, or ServiceNow, whatever your industry uses. So timesheets live somewhere else, possibly in a system, possibly in a sticky note. Billing lives in finance, invoices generated against milestone that somebody has to manually verify that, and the PNL itself lives in a different system entirely, pulled together by an analyst at the end of the month. Seven systems, seven version of truth, zero marginal clarity, and what connects them? It's unfortunately email threads, shared essays, status calls, screenshots. At times, sometimes they still into the PowerPoint deck on a Monday review meeting. This is a real operating system of most service systems today, not the seven boxes, the stuff that live in between, held together by human memory, which for the record is the least reliable database ever invented. So uh, now we know the villain, right? It's not the sales, they are doing their job. It's not delivery, they are doing their job. It's not finance, they're absolutely doing their job. It's not technology either. The tools you got all work. The villain is something entirely different. The villain is fragmentation, the space between your systems, the space between your teams, the space between your decisions, the space between what is actually happening in your business and what is visible to leadership. This is where margin goes, and that is where cash gets stuck. That is where consultants disappear. That is where the projects go sideways. The villain is the dashed line between the boxes on your architectural diagram. But every story needs a villain, and every great story also needs a challenger, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, meet KEBS. Now, let me be very clear, KEBS is not another dashboard. The world has enough dashboards, and nobody on this call woke up this Monday morning thinking, you know what I really need, another dashboard. No, it won't work like that way. KEBS is not definitely not on the reporting tool. Nobody on this call woke up thinking, what I really need is another tool that tells me what already happened. KEBS is something different. KEBS is an operational intelligence layer for professional services. From the moment an opportunity enters your pipeline to the moment cash actually arrives in your bank account, one connected life cycle, one source of truth, one version of reality. Finally, the villain is fragmentation, the challenger is integration, and the prize is clarity. Let us play a small game now. It is Monday morning, 7:30 in the morning, coffee in the hand, board meeting in 2 hours. What is the first question your CEO actually wants answered? Definitely not 50 metrics, not 20 reports, not 17 tabs, not a status call with 5 departments. Just one question. Are we winning or are we are not winning? This screen answers that question under 60 seconds. Revenue, margin, utilization, cash, forecast, risk. Everything leadership needs to walk into that board meeting with confidence, without waiting for a Monday status report, without requesting an analyst pull, without asking finance for the latest numbers. And look at the bottom of the screen. The AI layer is not just describing what already happened, it is flagging what is about to go wrong. Three fixed bid projects is projected to slip below 18% margin next quarter. Already identified, already ranked. You can just one click to drill into the root cause. This is not reporting. Reporting is a rear view mirror. This is visibility. Visibility is forward. There's a difference between knowing what happened and knowing what is about to happen. And only one of those creates a better outcome. Now, let us walk into the most expensive room in any services company, the resource management function, where millions of dollars get deployed every week or sit quietly on the bench, costing money without earning any. Now imagine seeing 6 weeks ahead, not 6 weeks behind. You know, Imagine knowing which consultants are rolling off projects before they roll off, not the day after. Imagine seeing capacity shortages before delivery starts screaming about them. Imagine finding the right skills in seconds, not days, not 3 emails, not let me check and revert, nothing like that, just within seconds. Now look at the screen, right side of the screen. The AI layer is already 3 steps ahead. You know, 4 data engineers rolling off in week 3. Bench is forming. Act now. S4HANA capacity overbook for the next 3 weeks. Recruit or rebadge. Pipeline shows 2 new cloud projects starting in week 5. Pre-block your available talent now. So the system is not asking the resource manager to find the problem. It is presenting the problem and in many cases suggesting the solution. Bench to bill drops from weeks to days. Skills finds a project automatically. This is where operational intelligence becomes competitive advantage because in services, the fastest firm to find the right person at the right time at the right cost wins. So As we wrap up, I wanted to leave you with one final thought. Every generation of professional service systems has had a defining advantage. 20 years ago, it was offshore delivery. Whoever could move work to a lower cost geography won. 10 years ago, it was access to global talent. Whoever could hire the best people anywhere in this world won. Today, it is operational intelligence because the next generation of winners will not necessarily sell more. So they will not necessarily hire more. They will not necessarily work harder. They will simply see faster. Organization that sees faster decide faster. Organization that decides faster adapts faster. Organizations that adapt faster win. So before we close today, I want to take one question with you, not back to your team, not back to your inbox, back to yourself. What is the biggest business decision your organization is currently making with incomplete visibility? Because wherever that answer leads, that is where your next opportunity is hiding. So, and if today's conversation resonated with you, if some of these stories felt a little too familiar, do not stop with curiosity. Experience it. Explore KEBS for yourself. The access link will follow the session. Log in, click around, challenge it, ask the most difficult questions you have, see your own business through a different lens, because operational intelligence is not something you should hear about. It is something you should experience. Okay. Thank you for your time, folks. Thank you for your attention, and most importantly, thank you for your honesty. Have a wonderful day, everyone. See you soon. Goodbye.